So my name is Ciara Phillips, and I'm one of the artists showing British Art Show 8, and we're standing in the middle of an installation that I've made specifically for British Art Show. So it's bringing together, mostly I work through the process of screen printing, and that's sort of like, I do that independently. I create artworks on my own, but I'm also very interested in the collaborative potential of screen printing. So my installation in a way reflects that. So all around on the walls of the space, this is the main foyer in Leeds Art Gallery, are prints that I've produced from a photograph of a friend, the arm of a friend of mine. And then there are additional prints. The one behind me, Consider It a Valid Job, is printed on linen. And there are two others, Friends, Warm Friends, and Cold Cash. And they're quotes taken from a publication that I'm really interested in called the Irregular Bulletin, which was produced in the late 1950s and early 1960s in the US. And then there's another element to the show, which is on the floor when you come into the gallery, which is a poster publication that I've made in collaboration with people locally.
And the poster, it's made so that it's folded up and then becomes like a booklet.
Yeah, so it's in a way it's quite a simple format. I think, you know, if you're used to visiting galleries, you're probably used to the poster stack as a kind of artist way of like disseminating something of their work. And in this instance, I've produced it so it's like the flats that you would use to make a publication. So you can either keep it as a poster or you can fold it up into a booklet. And it tells, in a way, the story of the collaborative work that I've done with people around the area in the lead up to the show. I worked with 3 different groups, so some people from the Workers' Educational Association, a group of printmakers based in Mirfield, the West Yorkshire Print Workshop, and a group of young people who have a kind of regular drop-in session at the Hepworth in Wakefield. And they were groups that came to me through Leeds art gallery, groups that they have a relationship with, or people that they thought might be interested in my practice, and also me, you know, feeling that maybe we would have some kind of an affinity and that it would make sense for us to get together and do some printing.
So you taught them the process?
Yeah, I suppose the printmakers, they had some knowledge of the process, but the other groups, yeah, I had to give a sort of introduction to how screen printing works. And then, yeah, I'm really interested in how when you bring people together through a kind of process of making something, that you find out quite a lot about them and what matters to them, and there's a sort of durational aspect to print. Yeah, and that's kind of what my work draws on and why the collaborative side is important to me.
And does that then feed into work that you go on to make?
I guess it does, but not in a kind of one-to-one way. I think it does have a big influence on how I think about the way in which I operate as an artist in the world. In a way, there's something independent about the autonomous works that I produce, and they're a combination of lots of things that I think about and influences and people who've affected me, but it's not such a direct link as saying like, I worked with these people and now I've produced this. Whereas I can say, in this case, I've worked with these people and I produced this as a record of that. That's somehow different to what else is going on here. Yeah.
And obviously text seems to be quite important. Is that characteristic of your work generally?
Yes, I suppose it is. I mean, to me that's something about like the language of print, and how print is about sort of like a way of communicating information. And so often, often text will come into it, and it seems like kind of a natural fit with the medium, that it can convey a message in a very direct way. But then I hope there's some kind of, like, this piece obviously feels quite direct, but then there are other texts that in a way I hope like open up a kind of space for thinking through the work, so that it has a kind of directive feel, but that maybe there's a little room within that for you as a viewer to question those kind of statements and to think about what that might mean.
Is there one specific message you are trying to get across, or is it all completely open to the viewer?
I guess I don't reveal it. I guess I work from things that matter to me, but then it's, I guess this is a statement I would stand by, but I don't want to tell you exactly, pick it apart. That's the work is like opens up a room for something else to happen. And that, to me, that's interesting, rather than it being so cut and dry.
Perfect.
Yeah.